It doesn't have to be pre-sold 65, 70%. Like let them pre-sell it 25, 30%. Show that there's interest. Get a bigger loan that's guaranteed by CMHC or whatever. Let the building go up. Like they get absorbed. It doesn't have to be the first weekend. Like we got to start being more realistic. So anyway, so I'm in this meeting this morning with a real estate guy, and he's saying, people, they don't want to wait for the project to be finished anymore, right? Like we're dealing with end users now, and it's not like this investor who's waiting to flip a paper, right? They want to move in, they want to know when they're moving in, they want some stability in their lives, right? And then so we start talking about there's this deal that came out down in Yorkville, 138 Yorkville. I don't remember if we talked about it.
We talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, it came out at like $4,000, $6,000 a foot. And
they're starting construction.
They started without having sales, right?
Yep.
Because again, it's like that buyer, they want to just like, they don't want to know 7 years. It's like, oh, look, they're above ground already, right?
Yep.
I'll be in a couple years, right? And so I think what
a
might
play.
Well, but what might have to happen now as part of this whole mess to kind of unwind it a little bit is it doesn't have to be pre-sold 65, 70%. Like let them pre-sell it 25, 30%. Show that there's interest. Get a bigger loan that's guaranteed by CMHC or whatever. Let the building go up. And then like they get absorbed. It doesn't have to be the first weekend. Like we got to start being more realistic.
The condo play is a good play for developers who have liquidity issues, right? So obviously getting the bank's money based on the sales allows you to build something with the bare minimum amount of equity, right? Going through that process is like the worst. Like, I mean, that's like you have to have the most amount of equity to even start that construction, right? In order to be able to do that, because you got to pay for all that cash. And then purpose-built rentals is sort of in between. One of the developers that I met, I was showing you that site on College. We were talking about it. Anyways, they've been doing purpose-built rentals since 2017.
Yeah.
And so they said to me, like, no, like we never had a plan for condos. We never had a plan to do that. We've been doing purpose-built rentals since 2017. It just kind of fell in their lap now that the market's starting to go in their favor. And so that told me how well capitalized they were. Right. That told me that if you guys were doing purpose-built rentals since 2017, and you don't sell them, it's just about building buildings.
Well, don't be so sure.
Them.
Like I've looked
they
at
haven't
a lot
sold
of
them yet.
Yeah. Well, I've looked at a lot of deals where these guys went in 2017 and a little later to do purpose-built rental, these small things that like.
So what they're saying is the REITs are all knocking on their doors right now.
If they're stabilized,
and saying, hey, like, what are you doing? Because they want to buy them. So the REITs are being active and trying to purchase new construction purpose-built rentals. There's a few different ones now that like that's the only product they want. I think I saw the one that was in Pickering. Who bought that one again? I sent you that one.
In Pickering?
Yeah, it was 127 million. Starlight and somebody they partnered with an American company, so I don't think we know them. But again, all that division that they built is strictly new build purpose-built rentals, and that's obviously somebody who's got with no rent control and everything else like that. They're going to start a fund and have more attention and maybe an easier sell instead of like, hey, let's buy some 1960s apartment buildings and wherever.
Yeah.
Markdale.
Yeah. Well, look, Fitzrovia raised a $2 billion fund for purpose-built rental, and they've been doing it forever. Definitely
Dufferin and
more
401. They crushed that building pretty fast.
Yorkdale,
Yorkdale.
Young and Wellesley. They got tons of stuff going on, but they raised a huge fund for more stuff. And I know Cranston is raising a fund right now for purpose-built rental fund. I know I'm looking for money for my purpose-built rental building. There's a lot more purpose-built rental in the air because like it's starting to actually make sense from a development perspective where you can make some money, you can get some money out, and it's not the same as a condo deal by any stretch of the imagination, but it's getting closer to. It's getting to within like an acceptable level where people are more comfortable, right? Because at one point it was like, if you do the condo, it's this, and if you do the rental, it sucks, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you couldn't even finance it. Like it was like
Well,
it wasn't
you didn't
possible.
even think about it, quite
Yeah.
honestly, because it was like,
Yeah.
why would I even bother, right? I
Yeah.
can build this quick thing and be out and make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But now it's like you can't build the thing to make a ton of money because the condos are not selling no
Nobody's
matter
buying it.
what.
Yeah.
Nobody's even thinking about them,
Yeah.
right? Except for the guys that are trying to unload theirs. They're thinking about them a lot. Actually, I talked to a guy who said that, if there were any condos for sale that were new that were 30% below the current resale market, that he would eat them all up
30% below the current resale market.
for new
Yes.
units.
I would
Fire sale.
also buy those.
Well, but there's guys out there that would say that's not low enough yet, right?
30% below the current
Resale.
resale?
Yeah, for the
I
new.
don't know about that. I don't know anybody who would say that.
Well, I know somebody
30%
who
below
said
what
that.
they paid. Sure. Like that's
Oh,
not
no, no.
enough.
No, but if you have a
In
building
a lot
on
of
one side of
cases.
the street that's new and across the
Yeah.
street's a resale building,
For
right?
$1,000 a square foot and you can buy a brand new one at 700, who wouldn't buy that?
I don't know.
You
Like,
should be
who would buy that? There's not, maybe there's some guys like you that will just say, yeah, that makes sense to me.
yeah.
But, well, first of all, there's not that many. And second of all, most people would not buy something no matter what right
It's not
now.
possible, but I did hear though, just
Oh, I
through
heard
my
about a real
channels.
low one, like a real low one
Here's my
for a bunch
channels.
of units.
Are you looking for the best merch store on the planet? Well, we got the shit for you. Coming in at low prices where we barely make any money off of whatsoever, you can get the greatest real estate merchandise on this platform. Just look at this very flamboyant man putting on this great stuff. He looks great, he's dancing great, and boy does he look sexy in that merchandise. I tell you, buy this for anybody, you buy this for yourself. You will be not only repping the greatest Canadian real estate podcast in this world, but you will also be looking hella good doing it.